Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming back to Living to Do's Married at First Sight review, Season 13, Episode 10, Locked Out. I would like to ask you all if you could please subscribe and like this video. It would help this channel grow. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So let's get started with this review. I thought this episode 10, was the best episode so far. There was so much going on. It even reminded me of the new HBO show, Scenes from a Marriage. It just was really good. So we'll first talk about Bao and Johnny. Bao and Johnny are getting along great. They had discussed their insecurities. Johnny's insecurity was that he was afraid that he wouldn't live a purposeful life. And Bao's insecurities were she was ashamed of being poor when she was little and not being good enough. Now, Bao told a story that she lived, she was very poor and they lived in a very poor looking house. I guess it looked dilapidated and she was very embarrassed by it. That when she would get dropped off from school, the bus would drop her off, she would purposely walk past her house so no one knew where she lived. She was just so ashamed. And then when she had little friends come over and play with her, the mothers of the little friends didn't want their kids playing with her because Bao's dad was a drunk. He was the town's drunk, and it was very embarrassing. And she was ashamed, of course. So that is why Bao, I understand her a little bit better. She feels like she has to overcompensate for that by being the best, doing her best at everything, because she doesn't want to feel that she's not good enough. And I also understand why the snoring, she was so embarrassed. She felt ashamed. So what does Bao do? She goes out of her way because of the shame, like walking past her house when she doesn't want everyone to know where she lives, and staying up for several nights at camp so no one hears her snoring, because that's something to be ashamed about. Poor Bao. That is so sad that that little brain thought all these years that she needed to do these things because otherwise people would look down on her. That is a heavy burden to carry. But one thing's for sure, she seems to have a healthy sex life. Her and Johnny seem to really get along good. Dr. Viviana came over and she visited with the couple, and they told her that they consummated the marriage. Bao seems to think that the sex they did have was intense and she liked it and she wants more of it. And the vanilla sex, well, Bao wants a little bit more variety. I don't know if Johnny can oblige her, but they did have a homework assignment where they were dressing up as a nurse and patient, and they had some dice, and they had to do whatever the dice said. I guess it was kiss a body part, blindfolded, and they both enjoyed the game. And Johnny said that he wanted to switcheroo those dice to X-rated dice. Johnny, I guess that's he has a healthy sex imagination. But overall, they did very well. They seem to be getting along. There was really no issues with them this week. I like what I saw. They seem very happy. Let's just hope that the saga of Johnny and Bao continues in a positive way. Okay, the next couple is going to be Brett and Ryan. Brett and Ryan have Dr. Viviana come and visit them. She's asking questions of their sex life, or have they seen each other naked? They say no. no surprise there. And Dr. Viviana wants to know what's wrong. She digs a little deeper, and it seems Ryan has less feelings about the relationship than Brett does. He's not feeling butterflies, and he's not speechless. Nothing's taken his breath away. He's just not, there's nothing, no sparks in it for him. This is something that Brett didn't know, but I'm sure she felt. Brett says she's been there before. She starts crying. And that's so hard to hear, that she's been there several times. I'm like, is it you, Brett? I mean, she seems like a great person, and these people are just not connecting to you because of looks. Are all these people so shallow? Brett says to Ryan, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. And then Ryan says, I haven't said anything negative about you. And I just, what does he really mean with that statement? Anything negative about you? I thought, what is that about? And then later, the conversation continues with Dr. Viviana, and there's some things that she, I guess, sensed that Ryan may not be comfortable talking about in front of Brett. And so she asked him, do you want to talk, alone? And he wants to do that. So Dr. Viviana asked Brett to step away, and Brett steps away into another room. And as she's getting into the other room, Ryan says to Dr. Viviana that her walking away might make it worse. I think he's in tune to her feelings, or anybody's feelings, to ask them to walk away while you talk about them. And she's high strung, so she's probably in that room thinking, what are they saying about me? Da 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 da. It's it's upsetting because it's nothing positive. And Dr. Viviana gives him a little talking to about what is it, and he says that it's a type thing, which has been the talk for so long. Brett is just not the type of girl that he normally went for in the past. And I just wondered if it is her looks. He mentions that she's also high strung, but then you go back to the time that he talked to her father, which is his father-in-law, and the red hair, that sometimes it's either a hit or a miss. So is it a miss for him and her red hair? He says that she has pretty eyes. She has pretty blue eyes, and of course the red hair really makes her eyes pop. And I have to say, I think Brett is the prettiest lady on this season. She really cleans up well. She looks really pretty when she has her makeup and her hair done. She looks better than the other ladies. I wonder if Ryan knew that other people thought that she was pretty. Maybe he could see past that look thing, because honestly, she looks great. Maybe he doesn't have a thing for red hair. I don't know if he does and what it could be and why he's so against it, but I honestly think she's the prettiest lady on this season. And I think, and Dr. Viviana also mentioned that Ryan is putting up a wall, and that is an effort to protect Brett's feelings. And, that's not good for Ryan. It's not good for the relationship. I think that's his way of being nice and courteous and not try to hurt her in any way. So in one hand, you can appreciate it, but the other hand, it's sad for you both, because she's with somebody who doesn't want to be with her, but kind enough to be there so he doesn't hurt her. I just think Dr. Viviana also mentioned what he is asking for, what he's looking for, is just not real. It's a fantasy. It's Hollywood. It's superficial just to only accept somebody because of their looks. One thing they do is they send them off to a tantra sensual massage, or I guess that's what it is. They feed, one of them's blindfolded, and they're being touched and fed, and they're and hugging at the end. I don't know what good it did for these two. We'll have to see, because we didn't really see an outcome of what this exercise did for them in their personal lives, in their sex lives. They're Ryan is a kind man. He's not vicious or mean. He just may not be in love with her. And of course, I believe Brett is someone, she's a girly girl. She has her heart on her sleeve, and she's sensitive. And I'm sure she is, because like she said before, she's been passed over, in the past several times. There's always something missing. These people just don't connect to her the way she wants to connect with them. Zach and Michaela. Okay, I want to thank Married at First Sight for the workout montage that they gave us of Zach. Nice body. I don't think anybody else has ever had it in Married at First Sight history. Zach is working out. His friend comes and they talk about Michaela and their relationship. And he says that Michaela is making an effort in the marriage. They're communicating more, which is great. Next, we see that Dr. Viviana comes to Zach and Michaela's apartment, and they talk about trust. And Zach can't trust Michaela. He's scarred because of the blow up that they had when she called him out his name. He's scarred from that. He says he feels that the blow up is a characteristic of Michaela. That is who she is, and this is what he's afraid of. That's not somebody he wants to be in a relationship with, in a marriage, married to. He believes that is her knee-jerk reactions is Michaela, and he doesn't think that she is going to change from that. And that is one thing that is scaring him about being married to her, that she won't be able to control herself. This is not a one-off. He believes this is something, this is just her. This is something that she will continue to do. And this is the fear that he says he has. Now, Dr. Viviana says no one's perfect, because what Michaela is trying to argue is that she's defending herself, that he's not allowing her to grow. She says and promises that it won't happen. She's trying to show it with her actions. But in his heart of heart, he believes that, or it's a front for something else, an out that he's trying to get. And I feel Michaela on that. And I also feel for Zach, for someone to not know you for 2 weeks and they have an outburst like that, I wonder why she felt that she couldn't control herself. That would scare somebody else. So you can't fault him for that. And then you can't fault her for defending herself, saying she will change. I guess she needs time to show him that that's not her, and that she can control herself. So these are some topics that they have with Viviana. It's an ongoing thing because he can't let it go. Viviana leaves, and the one thing that was weird is that nobody walked her out, and she made a statement. She says, well, I guess I'll let myself out. I don't know if those two just don't have any home training, or if they were just butthurt there that they didn't walk her out the front door. And they continue their conversations. Michaela says she feels like she's being beat down because he's not allowing her to grow and allowing her to show him that she's not the person that he thinks she is. They get into this conversation, and after a while, I don't understand this, why Zach was crying. He says he's heartbroken, that it's killing him. The relationship is killing him. They're only, 3-4 weeks in, and it's killing him? And he's crying, and he's walking away. What is it? What is really going on to cause you to cry like that? That this is killing you? There is an out. There is a divorce that you can have. He just can't, follow through with the process, it appears. That this is really, really bothering him. So it seems. We do see them again later. They have their date night, which was really nice. He took her to go swimming at his friend's house, a really nice house, in a backyard in a pool area, because their honeymoon was cut off short, real short, because he fell sick. And Michaela looked really nice in her bathing suit. In fact, Zach, of course, looked really nice too. They're both athletic. They could do like swimsuit pictures, modeling, because they really looked nice, and they got in the water and they seemed like they were having a good time. They're asking more questions. I guess there was a little assignment that they had from the experts to ask some questions. I think it was like 7 questions. Michaela liked Zach's face. Of course, he's good looking. She's sorry about the knee-jerk reaction. She doesn't like the amount of time that he holds a grudge when he gets mad. I guess she can get mad and get over it real quick. But when you come after somebody the way she did, I don't understand why she thinks people should get over that real quick. They got to really assess the situation to see what caused that. She misses him being a happy person. Zach needs more understanding. They need to be on the same page, or he would like them to be on the same page with their issues. He does like her, he says. That one question is if he sees a future with them, and he said he can't see it, but he's hopeful. Honestly, I don't think that's really going to happen. There was one point in the episode where Michaela and Brett met up with each other to talk, and we learned then that Ryan left the home after the visit with Dr. Viviana. He left the home, their apartment, to go to his home for a couple of days. After the visit with Michaela and Zach, the Dr. Viviana visit, she told Brett that they were spiraling downward, and that's where we see that Zach was crying. Poor Brett. Brett said if they were just dating, if she was just dating Ryan at this point, she would just call it quits. She feels rejected. And I feel so sorry for her. Such a good person. And that's all he wanted, was a good person. She's a good person with a good heart. And she's hurt. Ryan, we learn, we have a little confessional where he's talking, and he says he had to go home to reset and reflect. And he does feel better about the relationship. At first, he was feeling deflated and shut down. But he wants Brett to call him out on his BS. He needs to be more vocal, and she wants that, of course, too. So all the things he was telling the doctor, Dr. Viviana, she didn't even know about. He keeps everything inside. And I don't know what's really going on with him. And maybe this will, something's going on. He seems blank. Even his eyes, they seem vacant most of the time. but he does want to feel a spark or two towards her, but he's not feeling anything. So hopefully we got to see about them. If it's time that he needs, there's a couple more weeks left to see if this relationship can turn around. Gill and Mirla. Gill asks Mirla, how has she changed in the last 5 years? Mirla says that she is more understanding and more patient. Gill looks at her like, really? You've changed that? You were worse? I mean, who would have thunk it that she was worse than what she is now? They do meet up with Dr. Viviana, and Gill offers her a drink while Mirla sits on the couch. She has like no home training. Dr. Viviana asks how the relationship is going, and Mirla says she gives it a 7. Gill gives it an 8. Physical intimacy, Mirla still gives it a 7. She says she's satisfied and she's enjoying Gill. Gill gives it a 5. He doesn't want to initiate too much with her because it's always no with her, and he feels he's getting teased. I mean, she is touching him. She does show signs that she likes him, but she doesn't follow up with a kiss. And he says that, when she's ready, that he just might not be ready, and it might never get there again. He says, again, if he doesn't have a kiss by the decision day, that he will get a divorce. He asked Mirla if kissing and sex is the same to him, and she says yes. She needs a connection. She doesn't just kiss random people. Gill reminds her or educates her that he is not random. Those kind of words can hurt people too. Gill says her words have no substance, and that this shouldn't be okay where they are in their relationship. Gill says, if I don't get that kiss, I'm going to get divorced. Mirla says, you're not getting a divorce. She says, you mean if I give you a kiss, we will stay married? And he said, yes. So I wonder what she's thinking. Are you going to kiss him just to stay married? Or at this point, how much longer will it take for you to give this man a peck on the lips if you're sleeping in the same bed with him for a month now? You're always touching him. It doesn't really add up, but she says she's slow in this area. And that's just the way how she is. And apparently she was cheated on before, so she does have trust issues. But it still doesn't add up. No peck on the lips if you're sleeping in the same bed. The experts give them a game to play, body shots, a taste game. And Mirla does not want to do that because she doesn't do shots. No, never. They do a blindfolding. There was another one activity to do, but you have to be blindfolded. Mirla says no because of her lashes. It's always something with Mirla. Later, they're asking questions how to initiate sex. Well, that was one of the questions. Gill just knew right off the bat to throw that out the window because that wasn't happening. And Mirla says facts. They do have a breathing exercise. I guess she agrees to it. There's no blindfold involved. And she has to put her back up against Gill's chest. They're going to sync their breathing. I guess it's in an effort to get closer. She does do that. I don't know if that really worked for her. They do have another exercise where they're touching foreheads and talking. And Mirla says she likes waking up to Gill. Well, you should. You should feel very fortunate to wake up to him. She likes his patience, but she's challenged also by his patience. Gill needs compassion, desires, and he has lack of intimacy with Mirla, and that's a problem. area for him. He feels like they're getting closer for a peck on the lips. And Marila's like, yeah, just a peck. She's heartless. Okay, last couple. Rachel and Jose. I'm surprised by them this week. Rachel accidentally calls Jose by another man's name, and apparently Jose loses it. He is so insecure. This really showed his insecurities. This is the way he tells it, that they were up in their clubhouse at the rooftop of their apartment building, and that's where she called him by another man's name. I believe she apologized for it. He goes down, I guess, to the apartment. He says he goes to the restroom. He comes back up and she's not there. He goes back to the apartment and he locks the door. Bolt locks the door when she can't get in. He claims it was an accident. The next day, and before that, the next day we find out that she is talking to Jose in their apartment. It's a black and white footage, like the camera that's not manned by a man is filming them. And I don't know if he's still aware of it. He is sitting down with one of the producers, Brittany. So Brittany, Rachel, and Jose are in the kitchen talking. And Jose goes off. He goes off. He tells Rachel to get the F out. He tells her a couple of times, get her stuff, go, get out, pack your bags, bounce. And Rachel is telling him that no one will talk to her like that. It talks about the ring on his finger. He says to her, do you want me to pull it off and just throw it at you now? Rachel wants to know who she's married to. They're talking now. We are in the apartment in the kitchen, but there looks to be the cameras. It's in color now. They're continuing the discussion. Rachel tells Jose that she is not happy about the way he expressed how he was not happy with her, and that wasn't okay. Jose, he's full of cockiness at this point, and he's like, apparently, he's not apologetic at all in the way he talked to her and treated her. Rachel says that she was raised better than that to allow a man to talk to her that way. I totally agree. Rachel says that she doesn't trust him at all. He says, same. I don't know what he can't trust her about. He just called you accidentally by somebody else's name. She's known you for a month. It can happen. You need to learn to let it go. So he locked her out of the apartment. They discussed that. She says that she was locked out. She didn't take anything with her. She says she was just talking to Brittany. She banged on the other couple's door, Mirla and Gill's and Brett's and everybody's. And she called her friends in the middle of the night because she was locked out, purposely out of her own place. Rachel says that in her confessionals that she hit a wall, but she tells him that she cannot be his wife. I understand someone's going to treat you like that. You can't trust them. In fact, Jose, how could you lock her out? She has nothing with her. Somebody could have pulled her in somewhere and hurt her. She could have been raped or something, and it would have been your fault. It was about security, the safety of that woman to get into her house at night. And you didn't allow that. She can't trust you. She can't put her safety in your hands because you'll do whatever you feel like at the moment. Because if your feelings are hurt, your ego is so fragile that you would allow someone, a woman, to be out in the cold or wherever, outside of her home at night. I think it was 1 a.m. It's so insensitive, so inconsiderate of her safety. Yeah, I can understand why she cannot be your wife. He's such a jerk at this point. She says that, and he goes, "Oh, that makes sense. Good, okay. I'll help you if you need help. There's some boxes." It's just like, if this is what it's going to be, of course she's not going to want to be with you. To the point they broke the fourth wall, and the producer, Brittany, has to come in and talk to him about this. So Brittany comes, and she's asking, you're not going to fight for your marriage? Jose says she's the one that gave up. She says if she circles back, then maybe okay. It's just that she's just he was just very, very cold to the whole situation, and his body language. I'm really sure he's just really hurt. Often he wasn't sitting still the way he was looking. He was hurt, and I guess surprised by it. But then again, how can you be surprised when you lock somebody out of their own home? Rachel comes back after Brittany meets with Jose, and she tries to talk to him. She requested from him eye contact when speaking to her. She tells him, this is the first time he's hearing this, but she says it's been a build up with her and him in their relationship for 2 weeks. There's some problems that they're having. She did not tell him at first, but she did write a note. And in her note, she says that you are my priority, meaning Jose is her priority. And she also says, so am I, which is important, that she's not forgetting herself in this marriage and won't just be treated any kind of way. She knows she deserves respect, and it is a priority to be treated with respect and with decency. She says that he had everything all planned out, that they would move into his house after decision day, the control of the finance. It was very controlling, in that she's not fitting the perfect mold of a wife for him. And now I think he's just turning on her, using this. Now, this cannot be making you feel betrayed. I mean, in a way, I guess you could call it that, but he feels betrayed because she didn't communicate those feelings to him. Rachel says she can admit when she's wrong, and she was wrong for not communicating her feelings to him, but he is wrong too. And what his problem is, he can never admit when he's wrong. He takes no accountability. Jose doesn't want to convince Rachel to stay. He says he feels sorry, but he doesn't want to say it. And Rachel wants him to say it. Him not saying it makes their problems worse. And it does. There is lack of communication. He can't really say how he feels either in that way. Should she feel betrayed because you want to say stay and you're not? She feels you're controlling, and she didn't say that to you, but you felt betrayed by that. The problem here, I honestly think, is all Jose. Rachel, I honestly can see that she has done the work. It shows. I think it even helps to protect her heart before she goes in too deep, to stand up for herself. I'm actually really proud of Rachel. I have to see next week where this goes. Okay. Okay, we see the girls go to an aggravation room where they can take a hammer, a sledgehammer, or something, some type of instrument to break up and destroy things to get out aggression. This is a great place for Rachel to be. So Rachel, Brett, Bao, and Mirla go. Michaela's not there. She says she's feeling ill. Rachel discussed further with the girls that she was locked out of her house. And I guess they kind of know the story. She says that she can't trust Jose for what he did. Bao says that Jose has a super sensitive ego. His ego is very vulnerable. And they say that Rachel says that Jose is very vindictive. He's placing, deflecting blame, and he sure is. They mainly talk about Rachel's issues. Mirla, of course, doesn't want to do knocking of the items. She doesn't want to destroy anything. It's not her thing. Bao seems to enjoy it. I don't know why she has so much aggression when she's really getting it out. So that's their scene and their outing for the girls this episode. The boys, the guys, they go play golf, and Jose tells the guys what had happened in his marriage, and they said that Rachel called him by another man's name, and she wants a divorce. The guys think there's holes in his story. It doesn't make sense. She called you by another guy's name, and she wants a divorce. Something's missing. They're not stupid, and I'm glad they're good friends. They kind of check them on it. Like, we're not hearing the whole story, they say. Their details, they're not getting all the details. The way they have Zach in this scene where his eyes are darting back and forth, like he knows something's up. Johnny's thinking about it. They ask him questions. Gill, of course, has questions. You locked her out of the house, deadbolt, when you knew your wife wasn't home? Did you call her? Jose says no. He didn't even check on her. So you purposely locked her out. He's talking about he needs to secure his home, his property. First of all, it's an apartment provided to you by Mavs, and it's her apartment too. And you put a deadbolt on purpose. He says it was an accident. I don't know how that's an accident. Either did the guys. Ryan says he's never accidentally locked a deadbolt. You knew she wasn't in that house, and you locked it anyway. The good thing that came out of this is that Gill shares his story that he got a kiss from Mirla, and actually Mirla shared that with the girls, that she's kissed Gill, that she's comfortable. In fact, they showed it on the camera that I guess it's a camera attached to the wall. That I guess they're unaware of it at times because there's nobody manning it. And Rachel, what's her name? Her name is Mirla. Mirla gives Gill a kiss and then another kiss. So he got 2 kisses from his wife. Finally, episode 10, and Gill gets a kiss. So that was it for this episode. I thought this episode was a lot meatier as far as substance and content, relationships, how we're interacting with one another, how we're resolving it. Our anxieties, our insecurities are showing in this episode. There was a lot going on, a lot to unpack. Best episode so far this season. So we'll see what next week brings. So that will come to a close for this review. I would like, again, to ask if you would please subscribe to this channel, Living to Do, and like and share the video to help assist this little channel grow. I would really appreciate it. And I thank you so much for tuning in. But I have to go because I got living to do. Bye.